All right, Tiny Toys Tuesdays, episode 43. We are back after a week of break because of Smite. Smite went well. I think everyone enjoyed it. Could have gone better for House of Hobbies. We were very close to getting that golden ticket, but Nuge and his Beasts of Chaos took the show.
They snuck it out. Good on them.
Yep. I mean, what a
beastie, and they caused chaos.
what a list, man. I mean, he played the hell out of that list all weekend. So, but yeah, good around. I mean, it's funny that House of Hobbies, we had a lot of people there, and we all did. Well, I didn't play, but you guys all did so well that when we got to round 5, everyone played each other.
Yeah.
So it was good, but you guys played too well. But yeah, it was a good turnout. Camaron took home best death, and I think you got 4th overall, right?
Yes.
Pretty good. Finally got to match up against the infamous Tom Guan.
It was a very fun game.
Yeah, it looked like it was. I thought you had it turn 1. It looked really good, and then and then it looked real bad. But yeah,
can't make all your rolls.
Yep. But yeah. So other than that, what I've been up to is I finally finished all the AOS reminders. So hopefully today I'm going to get with my buddy Steven to see how I can get that online. But they're all done, and then all my cards are done. All the faction reviews are now done. So getting a lot of stuff done. Just in time for Skaven to come out, so fun times.
Yep, now you got to redo some of it.
I mean, that's fine. Again, I always said, like, when one book comes out, it is so much better than having to do all 5 factions.
Oh, gosh.
So
100%.
It's all downhill from here. So, or uphill? Downhill from here.
One of the hills.
Yes.
Easier.
But yeah, so that's what I've been up to. Camaron, what have you been up to? I know you're doing 40K.
Not much, to be honest. I haven't been feeling well for like the past month, and so I'm slowly trying to not feel bad. But I'm going ahead and taking a break from AOS for at least until the new Battle Scroll comes out, because I do not like the meta that's currently out.
Agreed.
And so I'm playing some 40K. Gonna play some Tau.
Nice. Is that are you doing the 2v2 or are you just?
Yeah, we're doing a 2v2, 1,500 points per player.
Oh my god, what a huge match.
Yeah,
it'll be fun. Who's your teammate?
It's going to be Matt, and we're going to be versus Zek and George.
And what is Matt playing?
I think he's playing either Space Marines or Battle Sisters.
Okay, cool. I still have yet to play my Tyranids. I bought it, it looks beautiful, and I still have yet to play it, so...
Hey, if you want 1.5 million models on the board, there you go.
My list doesn't have that, though. I'm not running that. I'm running Monster Mash.
If you want 1.5 million monsters on the board...
Fair enough. All right, Erica, what have you been up to? Erica?
Working.
Oh. All right, cool.
Getting a doctorate.
Sweet. That sounds like fun.
Beautiful.
Playing some skeletons.
Cool.
Woo.
I mean, you did play horses this weekend.
Yes. I've been running an equestrian army. Calling it a day.
Horses everywhere. That's all I see. Is horses or dinos riding dinos or something's riding something.
All I wanted was cavalry, and we finally have cavalry.
Yep. And you know what? That's pretty much the only thing that can really do well.
Yeah, right now. Speaking of wet, tier list explanation. Again, this is an in-depth review. Just a...
completely subjective tier list.
Yep, exactly. What we like, what we don't like. If you do want a more in-depth, I recommend like Warhammer Weekly or something like that. All right, let's start with OBR. So I'll go through the overview and then I'll get your guys' take on it. No longer the CP army. We have gotten rid of the command point shenanigans. They have a simplified relentless discipline mechanic, which is much better, I think, and much easier. The Relentless Discipline mechanic is extremely versatile, so you get what you need when you need it. Um, you have both offensive and defensive. This is a much more new friendly player book than it used to be.
Yeah, I can see that.
I took this to California and I did some prep to it, but like I'm typically one that makes notes and all that stuff. I didn't take a single note, nothing. Like it was super easy to play. It was not difficult at all. So I definitely recommend it for new players. It's decent at scoring objectives and battle tactics, and there are staple unique heroes that will dictate your army list. So you're either gonna run, Catacross and a bunch of stuff, or you're gonna run Archon and a bunch of stuff, Nagash and a bunch of stuff. It's no longer the list where you take Archon and Catacross. It's just not viable.
Too many points.
Too many points, which is fine. I honestly think the balance in this book is good, minus one issue, and we'll get to that. But yeah, I think this is like a good mid-pack, maybe a little higher than mid-pack book. Like I don't think it's broken. I think it's right where it needs to be. Minus a couple point changes.
Yeah, I agree. With almost every index, I think that there's some things that just need a little bit of tweaking for points. But, like, you know what you're going to get out of playing this army. There's a couple different ways. Some of them are more viable than others. But there's a whole bunch of different things that can be actually viable in this book.
Agreed.
And, like, nothing is incredibly oppressive.
Yeah, I like that there's a lot more opportunity to configure a list using, I don't know, a wider variety of choices. I feel like the last time we saw OBR, it was, you will take this list. If you deviate, you will have a horde army of tiny skeletons, and those were your two options. And it was either big monsters or tiny skeletons, pick one. And now I think there's a lot more versatility.
Mix and match.
Yep. There are some bad choices in this book though, but we'll get to it.
Yes, you can make bad choices with any army.
Yeah. Yep. All right, getting to the battle traits. All of this is just related to their Relentless Discipline abilities. So you basically get to use any of these once per phase on a hero, and it's a 12-inch bubble. And then everyone in that wholly within 12-inch bubble gets that ability.
Unless it's kept.
Well, yes, we'll get there. But and all of these are basically, you have an offensive one and a defensive one. And again, I think it's really good because you get to use what you need when you want it. Again, I put A's across the board here because they're all really good. There's no really bad ones in here for what you need. So
the biggest thing about this battle trait and why it's so good, and pretty much is the reason why the entire army is good, is because it has the consistency factor of where you don't need to roll a dice.
Yeah, you just get it.
You just get it. Yep. And you have a choice, and it's not like 5 choices that you have to choose every single round, the beginning round. No, it's that phase, you have 1 of 2 choices.
Yep.
That phase, you have 1 of 2 choices.
I will say, with how they've created this aura, or the bubble that you have to stay within, I'm very interested to see how this might change depending on what type of GHB comes out. Because if you start to have points in different places and different type of objectives for each of your maps, that could change this. Right now, this works really well because you can keep things in those bubbles.
Yeah, I'll agree. That's the weakness of this army. The strength is that it's consistent. The weakness is that it forces you to be a castle army.
Yeah, and it's multiple castles, right? With one exception, which we'll get to. Yeah, I agree. I've definitely been caught out where I'll run a pack of horses down the line, and then I'll use one of the already Relentless Discipline abilities and realize, oh, oops, they're not even close to a hero. And then so you do have to kind of mentally plan out your small castles here and there.
Yeah, and you really have to be careful of who you pair with who. Because if you've got fast-moving units paired with a slow-moving hero that doesn't
You're
have any sort of teleport shenanigans, you
you're
don't have a chance.
never going to get your buff.
Yeah, and this
Or
kind of
you're never going to move.
well, this also, I mean, I want to say with some exceptions because I haven't come into the problem, but because I've always used Catacross, right? But if you're not using Catacross, you tend to want to play Hero Hammer because of these Relentless Discipline abilities. You kind of want a lot of heroes, but I guess I haven't really had that problem because again, I've only used Catacross, so.
Yeah, and that'll come up to one of my complaints in the future.
Okay.
Just Catacross is so good, but it comes with a negative.
Yep.
I would say a couple of them. There's some downsides.
As far as on the battle traits, my favorite one is obviously Bludgeon. I think it's really good.
Oh yeah, plus one
So
wound's
the
great.
wound is so
This
good.
this
Especially
army,
when there's so many armies that debuff your wounds.
well, and this
and
army
debuffs your
is
hits. This helps.
this army is also a lot on force, So many things are wounding on force. So.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Anything else in battle traits?
They're all good. It's all consistent.
Yep.
You're a castle now, baby.
Yep. Okay. Next are the battle formations. The Ballistari is bad.
Oh my gosh, it is so bad. I don't know
When
why
are
you
you
gave
gonna
it a
take
C.
three? First off, when are you ever gonna take 3 more tech crawlers? By the way, they're 280 points apiece.
Yeah, like I was building a list with Matt for Smite, and we're like, what if I made Ossiarchs? And then he made a list and had ballistas in it, and he's like, you know what? He showed me the profile ballistas, and I'm like, all right, I can see their usefulness. And then he told me the points, and he said, I'm sorry, get rid of all of those ballistas.
They're so expensive. I know.
280 points for 4 attacks.
I know, and I know Michael played at Smite. He played 2 of them. I
2 of
know.
them, yeah.
I know Erica played him, and I just don't think they're worth the points. They're good, but they're just not 280 points good.
And you know what?
They need to come down.
He played 2 ballista, and every single time I talked to him, it was always the same complaint. And 100%, this is why ballistas are not good. They cannot shoot in combat.
Yeah.
They're this
For 280,
massive model.
yeah, 280 points you can't shoot in combat. It feels real bad.
Massive model
With the
that's
narrative,
slow.
that makes sense. You're
Sure.
not going to be able to fire a catapult at something that's 2
Sure.
inches in front of you.
I get it, but that doesn't mean that it's worth 280 points.
Those
Yeah.
points need to, honestly, they need to be down closer to 200 for sure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put those much over.
Because
200.
as soon as you put a single model within 3 inches of them, you just lost 280 points.
Yeah. Agreed.
Because their melee attack is 6 attacks at 4s, no rend 1, and their companion.
I
Agreed.
mean, their companions are useless. They're not going to do much.
As far as the other ones on here, obviously Caval's Lance is super good, especially if you're going all cav. That's just an auto take if you're doing that. The
Beginning of the game free move.
6-inch move for three cav units. Now this can get you in trouble. I've had matches where this can get you in trouble. So you have to be very careful what you do with this, but it is a very
please tell
good
me more.
ability. What?
Well, please tell me more.
This is when you decide to go up and then you give your opponent a better chance to get into you, and you're like, oops.
But just the fact that you have it can be some mind games. Like, you don't have to move all 6.
Correct.
You don't have to move at all. But telling your opponent, I have 3 units that I can move 6 inches,
Yep.
that makes them set up differently.
No, yeah, 100%. I think it's really good. I also think the Necrotic Symphony is very good. You pair that with Archon, and good luck trying to unbind him. And then the Mortec one is fine.
It's so swingy.
It is.
Because it's what? It's going to be 2 times per game. Sorry, 4 times per game, maybe, because you're not going to get it on the first turn.
Right.
On a 5 up, you get, what,
Yeah.
5 to 10 models back?
I just take Nagash at that point and just
Exactly.
get him back regardless at full strength, right?
I also don't know if running a whole lot of Mortec is.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I haven't seen any heavy Mortec guard lists yet. So
Which I am okay with. We'll get to that when we get to Soulblight. Like the fact that we do not have hordes everywhere right now is okay with me.
Fair.
Makes things so
You're either always going to take the lance if you're doing cavalry, or you're going to take the council.
yep, yeah, those are my two options. Yep.
You're not going to take the phalanx. I don't know why you have that out in B plus. Like even if you go like what 60 more tech guard,
All right,
I would
all right,
still take
all
the
right.
council.
All right, I'll move it down. You've persuaded me to move it down to a B minus. All right, let's move on to heroic traits. These are good. The divisionary tactics is probably my go-to, depending on your list. The -2 to charge within 12 is really good.
Oh, that's always been good. That's
Um,
so good.
it is really good. So when I went to California, I took the -1 to wound rolls for shooting attacks. Again, your army play is very castle-y, right? So this is very good when someone shoots into you and you're got everything wholly within 12. However, it's very, very list dependent, right? So if they don't have any shooting, like I don't think I used it once when I was in California.
Yeah, if you're going horses, I probably would do.
So you don't want to do
probably-
visionary because you're going to be up in there, like you're never going to use it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I used diversionary when I was at Smite. That was my heroic trait, but that was because I was protecting my small wizard.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I was using and with a redeploy, if you know somebody's going to try to get into you, you redeploy. Now they've got -2 to
Yeah.
charge. That's going to make that so
Yep.
much harder.
No, yeah, it definitely is for sure.
Yeah.
And
that's
you need
where I
that
think
tiny
it's
hero
good.
alive, because for me in my list particularly, that was my only spell casting.
Yeah, you turn them coming right up to you, a 5-inch charge, and then you redeploy out. You can-
Yeah,
You can change everything.
if I were to do it all over again, I definitely would take divisionary tactics. That being said, the mighty Archaeosian, or whatever, however you pronounce that, I don't even know how to pronounce that, is not very good because most things hit on 4s anyway. So, not taking that. I'm taking the
Yeah.
other two. So,
I
Agreed.
think we just need to have an entire show where we try to pronounce some of the names.
yeah, I don't know.
Well, it would be fun, but
Embarrassing. All right.
embarrassing. It's just fun.
I don't know if anything could be worse than Gutrapaz.
Ooh,
Oh
Gutrapaz.
gosh! Oh my gosh! I'll never forget
It was
that.
great.
It was
It's infamous.
Gutrapaz. All right. Artifacts of power. Helm of Tyranny is a pass. It's bad. It's not good.
Yes, just lowers control score.
Yeah.
You know what's the best way to lower control score?
Killing your opponent.
Killing your opponents.
Lotus Saturation is very good. 5 upward. I typically put this on my wizard. And if it's next to Immortus Guard, he gets a 4 upward, which is pretty good. And then Marrow Pact is fine.
I think Rare Pact is fun, but
It's once per battle. It's fine.
yeah. And like
Yeah.
my big problem with Ossiarchs is that all of their non-named heroes aren't that tanky,
I know. Yep.
which makes all of these things very, very hard to put on it.
Yep.
Like Marrow Pact would be great if you had like a non-named monster and you put it on him. You just throw him at a swarm and you'd be like, all right, I just need to survive 1 turn.
I mean, you could throw that on the horse guy.
Yeah, but he's not surviving that long.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Depends on the list, but yeah. I still think.
I mean, you could risk it by putting it on Liege, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like-
still think the load is the.
I think
option there.
saturation is just too good to put on a tiny wizard. Again, keep it alive.
All the artifacts are very weird because, like, in theory they're very good, but in practice, like, you're putting it on a little wizard, or you're putting it on a Cabalist, and that's the Cabalist is like the best option for anything.
Correct.
That's it.
Yeah, they're okay. Again, I think it's low to saturation on a wizard. I think it's just like what you do. Kind of a waste, but it is what it is.
Keep the little wizard alive.
Okay, let's get to the spell lore. What? This is pretty good. Your unlimited spell is just crit 5s. It's pretty good
Oh yeah, it's great.
considering
Comes
your
in clutch. Comes in clutch.
considering most of your army is crit auto wound.
Yep.
Pretty good.
Yeah, 5-ups instead of 6-up makes a huge difference.
Yeah, man, it really does.
Huge difference.
It's really good. And by the way, this is on a 5 cast. I don't know how this is even a thing. I don't. Whatever. Yeah, this
I'm
is
not complaining.
one of the
Yeah.
best spells in the game, I would say. Maybe not the best, but one of the best. This is really good.
All right, so the entire spell lore of the Bonereapers is actually kind of crazy good,
Yeah.
especially when you compare it to like other things.
Yeah. The drain vitality is -1 to hit and save rolls.
Yeah, like oh no, it's 12-inch range.
It is
but,
12-inch
like,
range, but I mean, still.
I
it's
compare
really
that
good.
to other spells, like we go to the Soulblight spells, and like they're good, but they're also 12-inch range. But I would still rather have Drain Vitality.
Yeah. Yeah. And then obviously your Shard Storm is your Horde spell.
Everybody needs a
Everyone-
needs a Horde spell.
Yep, everyone needs a Horde spell. It
But
is
do
18
we?
inches.
Because are we actually running lots of hordes anymore?
Not yet, but maybe. You never
Just
know.
wait.
Don't say yet. Don't say. I don't want to go back to that time in our lives. I don't.
All right. So yeah. So all good. Very good. Moving on.
Yeah, like the only reason why Shard Storm is a B right now is because no one's running Horde.
Correct.
But it's there for when people run Horde.
Correct. Yep. All right. Let's get to the MVP, baby. The Bone Tie Shrieker is one of the best in the spells in the game. I firmly believe
Agreed.
that. I have won games off of this stupid guy. This thing is stupid good. The fact that it's a 12-inch aura of -1 to ward is insane to me. By the way, it also shoots. Because of course it does.
It's the fact that it has an aura that's immediately useful, and
Correct.
it can shoot, and it's immediately useful. Like, it's one of the few manifestations that you can put out like first turn, and it be useful first turn.
Correct.
Mhm.
This thing's
And the fact
amazing.
that- yeah, because you're setting it outside of 9, but the aura is 12. Like
Yep.
it's freaking fantastic.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why when I take OBR, I just take this lore instead of Morbid. It's like one of the few where I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna take the OBR one. And it's really for the Shrieker. The Predators.
I would.
Go
I
ahead.
would argue that all of these are decent, and they have a place depending on what is going on in the game at
Yeah.
that time.
Predator's kind of fun because it's hard to kill, or it can be.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fair.
I
And you
I
know
like
what?
It's
this.
really
I
nice
like
because
this
it
lore.
just ties stuff up, and then you don't have to worry about wasting a unit to do it.
Yes.
I think this is an amazing lore. I really like it. It's one of the few where I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna take this over Morbid, and I don't say that often.
Yeah, it's one of the few lores in the game that can actually go against Morbid.
Yep, agreed. And these are all in a 6 cast, which is also pretty good.
Also, super easy to cast.
Shrieker, man, I'm telling you, that thing is just so good. It's literally 1v games. All right, so we will go into Warscrolls. Okay. Nagash, still good. He's really expensive, and you're a real elite army, so,
A little too many points.
Yeah, I think it's a
Always
little too much.
Too many points.
But you cannot deny him bringing back, like, 4 more Morghasts when they die is pretty good.
Yes, it is pretty nasty.
I mean, that is pretty good.
But the problem is that you'll do Nagash and the Morghast, and then that's like, what, 2/3 of your army?
It is true. You're not wrong, but I mean, it is worth note. And then you're gonna really just want to run one of these 2 combinations, Catacross or Archon. They're both really good.
So Archon's really good at the spell lore, which Ossiarch has some of the best spell lore, and he's pretty tanky. He can actually heal himself slightly.
Still has Curse of Years, that stupid spell.
It's an amazing spell.
Yours is good.
Yep.
Every time Joel's like, oh.
Yeah, 'cause I don't roll 6s, guys, okay? I don't roll 6s.
And then I'm like, ooh, watch me delete something.
Yeah, because you guys roll 6s and I don't. There's a big difference here. If you just gotta roll 6s, man.
Yeah, like, did you not get the memo?
Yeah, apparently.
And then there's Catacross, and Catacross is just too good.
He's just utility. Like, he is the utility piece.
He's a tanky utility piece that buffs your entire army. He's decent in combat. He's tanky again.
Stealing
He makes
commands is insanely good.
he makes everyone around him tanky because he can +1 to the save of multiple people.
Control score is also
very good. That has gotten me some points for sure. It's a really good, like, wholly within 18 inches, add 3 to everything is pretty good.
Yeah, which comes to my complaint. My complaint is about Catacross. I think he's too good.
You think he's too good? Do you think he is worth 500 points, or do you think he'll go up?
I think he's worth 500 points.
I think so too. I don't think he'll move up.
My problem is that Catacross is just so good. I think like almost all competitive lists require him, and so you always will have him.
So internal balance is a problem. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, like I don't see a like 5-0 list without Catacross.
Fair.
Because the fact that he can increase the save characteristic of your army is so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
The fact that he allows your castle to expand more, steal command points. He's just so good.
Yeah.
And he's exactly what the army needs. And it's the same problem I have with Ashuron and Flesh Eater Courts. He's just so good.
Yeah,
he's almost mandatory.
Sure. Yeah.
He's almost mandatory.
Yeah.
I think he's slightly better balanced wise than Ushi. Because I think Archon, you could still make a list with Archon.
Yeah.
But I think he's just almost all lists will have Catacross. And like I don't blame them. Catacross is just really good.
Yep.
Yeah, you've gotta have movement though. And when we're talking about movement winning games, Catacross is one of those things that acts like the ball and chain, because you may have great movement with some of your units, but that means that they're going to be going so far beyond his bubble that it almost restricts what you can do in terms of where you can send your units. So I will say that is a downside.
I mean, all you're
4
doing
inches is...
all you're doing with Catacross is you're putting him straight in the middle point on the middle objective and just running him every turn and just waiting until he gets to the middle, and then you're just sitting him there.
Because what is the increased movement? Increase everybody
2.
movement by 2 inches.
Yeah.
So he's
inches, yeah.
6 inches run just first turn. That's if you auto run him. What is that? 12 inches. You're now in the middle of the board.
Granted, you're probably not auto running because you need the command points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I mean, he is slow for sure. That is not. I mean, that's obvious. But you just your strategy with Catacross is just literally just run him to the middle of the board.
Yeah, and like its first turn, if you just do the movement buff, he has a 24-inch influence range without running.
Yeah, true, because of the 6.
18 inches plus 6.
Yeah.
And then you run, so you can expand that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's slow by himself, but his influence is so wide.
Yeah, his utility is just so good, so good. And he's not terrible in melee. He's okay.
He's tanky.
And good luck trying to kill him.
As long as he doesn't have too many debuffs, he can do some work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That the Ren 2 3 damage, Ren 2 2 damage. I mean that can do some work.
Yeah, like he does have like a decent volume of attack for a hero. He's like what, 10, 20 attacks at least?
Yeah. He's got
18.
18.
Yeah, 18.
Like, it's not bad.
The other one on here that I want to call out too is Xantos.
Yes.
I don't see many people use him, but he's really good. His
that
once
+1 to attack characteristics.
Yeah, his once per battle +1 to attacks wholly within 12 is really good.
Hey, all you need is to get to that one point in the game where you need to kill as much as possible,
and you just pop
and
this.
Xantos pops it, and you do it.
Yeah, and he's actually
turn 1. Okay, good talk.
he actually can do some serious damage in combat too. 5 attacks, 3 threes, 2 rend, 3 damage on the charge. So
Yeah.
Oh, and I lied to you. It's not crit auto when they have. It's crit 2 hits. Sorry, I messed that up earlier in the show. But yeah, the whole army has crit 2 hits, not crit auto wound. I was thinking of Nighthaunt. Those crazy Nighthaunt. But yeah, so yeah, definitely calling him out. I've seen people run Vogue Mortion in really good lists, but I don't like him. I just don't. I don't know. I don't know what I'm missing with this guy.
Let's see.
I mean,
Motion.
it's a once per battle. I mean, you basically shut off.
He's
a
a
potential battle tactic.
He's a cheap double caster.
I don't know about cheap.
Or sorry, let me rephrase. He's cheap for Ossiarch double caster.
Okay, sure. I mean, his once per battle is really good. Don't get me wrong. You basically shut off a battle tactic essentially, but you have to be close. I don't know. I don't like him. I just don't like him.
What I'm saying is the lore is so good, you just have more spellcasts.
Sure.
That's all you really need. And he gets the buff from the +1 to cast.
Yeah. He's fine. He's okay. I can see someone using him for that Voice of Nagash, which is fine. Cool. Let's go to all the little Morrison dinguses. Come on, guys. Soul Reaper is such a cool model, and we still can't do it. We still can't get there.
Yeah, poor Soul Reaper.
You're just not going to take him. You're just going to take something else. That's unfortunate. But yeah, all the other ones are decent. The Soul Mason, the Ossifictor, and the Bone Shaper all have their place. And are all really decent. So, yeah, I think they're all good.
I do have if I remember correctly, the Bone Shaper, I have a bone to pick with him.
Oh boy, here we go.
And so he's I think the only way to get resurrection and healing in the army, besides Nagash and the Harvester.
Correct.
I don't treat Nagash as a healing. He just he's a cheat unit, and but he's the only way to heal after this army was very renowned for its healing.
Yeah.
And it's only once during your turn and on a 3-up.
Correct. Yeah. That is one thing to note with this army, is there is very few recursion and healing in this army.
And it used to be an army where you could bring things back all the time.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
It makes me sad.
Yep. But they needed it.
That would be a good RDP option, is to add in an extra choice in like the hero phase where Catacross can heal 2 units or something like that.
I don't know, man. I think they're
one of the RDPs, because that used to be something that he could do at the beginning of the turn.
I think they become too good if you give them recursion.
Yeah.
I like them, so can they just be better?
I just don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, their recursion. I could see the recursion getting kind of ridiculous. I just wish it wasn't on a 3-up.
Yeah. Yep, and I wish the Soul Reaper was just better. I really like that model. It's one of my favorite models in the army.
But we've been asking for the Soul Reaper to be better since its conception.
I know. It's so sad. The other one in here is Leech Cavalos. He's fine. The only reason you're going to take him, I think, is to give him one of the artifacts and heroic traits. Otherwise, I just
also,
think
he's a sub-commander. Is he like the only sub-commander?
Yes, he's the only sub-commander. So, I mean, I guess in that aspect, sure, but he's 210 points. You're probably taking something else. I'm either...
Like Xantos?
Yeah, I'm probably taking Xantos anyway. I just think he's good.
I don't know why he's the only sub-commander. You
know,
Soul Reaper, become a sub-commander.
Yeah, give me Soul Reaper. Like, the fact that dude's a drop is ridiculous. Cool. Anything else on this list?
The Soul Mason's really good because it's a cheaper than what is his name, Vork Mortion.
And he's a double caster.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I used him as a 2
cast.
cast.
The 2 cast is nice. I will say I am very happy that they what they do. They made his chairs no longer a mount.
Fair.
That was ridiculous.
Well, I mean, the chairs are still a companion, though.
It's still technically a companion, yes.
Whatever, it's dumb.
But
His spell is really good too. Strike first on one of your units. It's pretty good.
yeah, it's
It's really good. I mean, I think it's really good.
yes. And the chances of you being wholly within 12 of your own units versus within 12 of enemy units is much better.
Sure, I only cast this probably once, right? With my cav list, I cast it once at the beginning, and then just yeet everything in.
Yeah.
And that's
that's
basically how I
that's
won
a
the
cav
ogre
list.
list against the ogre list.
I wish it was until your next hero phase, though.
True, that'd be really good. Yeah,
Because
maybe.
like, if you want something to be strike first, pick it to go first. It's your turn. Like, I can see if someone else has a counter spell to that where they're giving you strike last and then it ends
Yeah,
up...
but you get to pick 2 units now.
Yeah, the entire reason why you take it is because you want to be Lumineth and you want to pick 2 units before your
Correct.
opponent.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. But to that point, I literally probably cast it once, and it was at the start of the game. So
Yeah, well, that's a cab list though.
yeah, true.
I still think there's better options for spells.
Don't worry, you have
Depending on
you have
what you're
plenty of good options.
Yeah.
The cohort actually is
Oh, it's great.
pretty good.
Absolutely great.
And they look really cool.
And they do look really cool, man. I want a little bone dog.
It's almost mandatory for an extremely competitive list to have 1 deep strike.
Yes, to have 1. Yes, and
Because it gives you so
Yeah.
much battle tactic.
Yep.
So much use.
16 wounds on a 4-up. I mean, pretty decent. Yeah, I dig the cohort. I think they're pretty good, and they're cool looking. So,
Yeah. The fact that they're deep strike and not useless.
yep.
Good addition.
Mortis Guard are great bodyguards. They're just going to give your heroes another +1 to ward.
I like their bodyguard ability more than last edition. I like the ability where people take damage even with the ward.
Correct.
I think it's much more balanced,
Correct.
and you don't get ridiculous. These guys will last forever abilities.
Yep. Mortec Guard are fine. They're fine. They're literally like just fine. That's how I think about
Yeah,
them. They're just
I think the
fine.
only reason why they're not used is because horses
Cav,
are better.
Yeah, Cav are just super good. Stalkers are definitely not like they used to be. There's probably better options for the points, but they're okay. They're fine.
Yeah, my problem is that like they really went down from where the damage potential that they
Yes, the fact that
had,
you can't buff
severely.
the fact that you can't buff their damage, it's not worth the points. I think.
Yeah, so they definitely need to go down points.
I agree. Mortec Crawler, we already talked about. Nope.
If you lower it by 80 points, I might consider using it.
Dude, 280. 280 for 4 shots, man.
If you make them 150 points, I'd use 3 of them.
Dude, it's so... And they're still... yeah, it's fine. Whatever.
They're a
They're
bit.
just swingy.
They are.
Don't get me wrong.
They are
That's the
swinging.
roll well.
Their ability is great,
Yeah.
really great, but not 280 points great.
Yeah, and you still have to roll a 4-up even when you... I'm just... No, man. They gotta go down.
Like they're built to be used in pairs, and it's just they're too expensive to be used in pairs.
Correct. I agree. You're not spending 600 points on 2 more tech crawlers. All right, cool. Anything else on this list?
No, I'm good.
All right, we go into one of the best units in the book and potentially the game currently is the Death Riders.
They're just super good.
These guys are just good, just really good. That's why I ran 25 of them.
Who knew that a crap ton of attacks, good movement, good defense,
Yeah,
and
these are hard to
relatively
shift.
cheap points?
These are hard to shift with Catacross. They do a crap ton of damage, and again, one of their best abilities is being able to fly over units when they charge. It's just so
Yeah.
good.
What you can give them up to a 3-up save 5-up ward and then all-out defense.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's pretty good, man.
So
And anti-charge.
pretty spicy. Yeah.
I mean, these guys are great, man. These guys are really good. Yeah. I have nothing but good to say about their... I think they're going to go up in points. I definitely think they're probably going up to 200 points, if I had to guess.
I could see him at 200 points.
If they do that, though, the Battle Scroll is going to be wild, man, because...
I agree. I could see him go to 210. I think they're going to try to hit almost all the cavalry in the game.
I agree, yeah.
I mean, with how many lists across the board
It's
are
just
really successful with cavalry, yeah, I can see pretty much all of that coming up.
Yeah, I was having this discussion with Colt because we were talking about it, and he didn't believe me at first. And then I told him, all right, here's all the good cavalry in the game. And it's like, all right, we have Slick Blades, we have Death Riders, we have Agrodons, we have Ravagers from Seraphon, we have Hex Race, we have Varangard. And it's just like every single one that's like extremely meta list and all that are all like, they're all cavalry.
Yeah.
Like,
And
you can go to every faction and point out a good cavalry, be like, yeah, that's just really good.
And that's why, like, most of those battle formations are being used that have to deal with cavalry. Slanesh with the Hellstriders and Slick Blades. Like, it's just Cav, man. Cav is a problem right now, for sure.
It's because they changed them all to 3 wounds when they used to be 4.
Correct.
That's when they used to be 2.
Yeah. And their movement is still really good, right? So they're still super point efficient.
Yeah, so now they're just a fast unit with wounds, where before, like, hordes were the wound ones.
Yeah.
But now cavalry have the wounds, so oh no.
Harvester is not good enough to take and way too expensive. Sorry.
I think we really need to talk about how hard the Morghast hit.
Oh.
We will. We'll get there. We'll get there. Harvester. Oh, well, yeah, because you played against them.
Yeah.
Harvester. Thoughts on the Harvester?
I think they're going to be good as soon as cavalry's out.
And they dropped like another 20 points.
Yeah.
There's no way that thing is 230 points worth. I just don't think it is.
I think they can actually be worth that point if you spec into infantry and such.
Maybe I'll run. I think we have 2 of them. Maybe I'll run some crazy list with 2 of them.
I don't know if you'd run 2 of them, but I don't know if their abilities once per army or not.
Once per turn.
No, so you can run 2 of them. Yeah, if you do all infantry with them, I can see it.
And then we get into the Morghast, which are crazy. Obviously, I don't think the Archive is very good. There's a sub-faction for that. I mean, they're okay, I guess, but if I'm running Morghast, it's going to be Harbingers.
The Harvester's only once per turn army, so no, you only run 1.
Right, gotcha. Once per turn army, got it, yeah. The Harbingers are super good, and they hit like an absolute truck. Like, they will... 3 attacks at 3s, 2s, 2 rend, 3 damage. These things will do some damage.
So my only problem with them...
+1 to rend against a monster.
Yeah.
So anybody running any sort of monster mash, you just take these guys and just shove them in.
So I have a huge problem with them, though.
Okay.
And that's 270 points for 2. So that's 270 points
for 12
for
wounds.
12 wounds and 6 attacks. And yeah, those 6 attacks do 3 damage each. But it's only 6 attacks.
Yeah.
And so it goes down to, like, yeah, they have really high, especially like I see them being really good if you bring 4 of them. But the problem is 4 of them is 540 points.
Yeah, it's a quarter of your army right there.
So if you can go, and they're not that tanky.
They are not. They are definitely not tanky. At a 4-up save, these guys will go down quick.
So, like, if you control the attack and you hit these guys first, they'll go down fast, and then you just lost 540 points.
Yeah. I do agree they're expensive. The problem is people are using them, so I don't think they're going to drop in price. I think they're going to stay out where they're at.
Yeah, and I think they're too expensive for what they do. They hit hard, don't get me wrong. Like, if you bring 4 of them, that's 12 attacks, 3 damage each.
Probably killing anything they go into.
That's 36 wounds that you can do if everything
Yeah,
goes
but
off.
bring 4 of them and set them next to Xantos.
Yeah, like that's once.
You're gonna melt something first turn.
Yeah, you're going to melt something first turn, but if your
And then die
opponent
very quickly afterwards.
if your opponent knows what they're doing and they screen well, that means they immediately die right after. And that means you used your Xantos buff and you used 540 points.
Yeah, and I just think you got to use these guys carefully. I do think they're useful, and I do think there's a place for them. They are pricey though. You are paying for them.
So would you rather see their points come down or their attack characteristic go up?
For their points, I think they need one more attack.
Maybe.
So 8 total.
The thing is I think they're literally just gonna stay there. I think they're gonna sit at 270. I don't think.
Yeah, realistically, that's what I think is going to happen. And they do their job very well. They see a monster and they point and click it.
Yes.
They have 3d6 attacks. You go, oh man, look at that nice and spicy. Was that Mega Gargant?
Yeah, I was gonna say a Mega Gargant. These things would just eat up, dude. Just
that
eat
Mega
up.
Gargant is not having a good day.
It becomes dinner.
Yeah, like
stew.
to be fair, I think a 4-pack of Harbingers right now could probably kill a Mega Gargant
in a turn.
One turn.
Yeah.
In a turn.
And
oof.
So
it's not guaranteed. Don't get me wrong, but since they have crit hit ×2, like it could happen.
let's talk about the best terrain feature in the game, the Bone Tide Nexus.
Okay, no, I'm gonna.
Thing's useless. It's too big. It literally went off like twice my entire week in California out of 5 games. It's garbage. Just get rid of it.
I actually think at a certain point it is better to not take
Correct,
this
because
than
it's so
this.
big. Yeah, I agree with you.
I can sling. You don't have that many units in the first point, and I can slingshot off of this so well.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Yeah. They need to do something with this thing because it's not good, man. Like maybe.
Especially with it being a 4-up for the roll, you're literally just giving your opponent an opportunity to get a point.
I know exactly.
So you can go over and take your train.
I know exactly what you need to do with this stupid little Bone Tide Nexus. You need
move.
to get rid. You need to get rid of all of its abilities it has right now. Just get rid of all of them, and then just give it a dinky little, 12 or 18-inch range attack.
So what? Oh, okay. So instead of an ability, it's just a shooting attack.
It just has a shooting attack. That's it.
Sure.
And you know what? It might actually get used.
I'd use that more than what it is right now. That's for sure.
I mean,
Exactly.
it literally says deadly gaze.
Yeah.
Not deadly. Not deadly.
No, it's deadly for you.
It's
Just it has 4 heads. Give it 4 little range attacks that do D3 damage.
Sure. I would much rather use that.
I don't even care if it's 12-inch range. You'd
For
still
real.
get use out of it.
For real. Yeah.
Your opponent would actually have to think about it.
It
There's so
is
many
bad.
times I've walked around and seen an Ossiarch list and be like, do I actually have to attack this thing? I know I'm here, but it's not doing anything in the first place.
For real. All right, moving on. Regiments of Renown. You're not taking any of these because you're too expensive.
Yeah, your entire army is too expensive to be able to take something else.
Pass. All right, so summary. Still plays like an elite death army. It definitely does that. There are lots of good unique hero choices. Again, you're going to kind of tweak your list towards one of them. The Relentless Discipline is very good and versatile, and expect cavalry to get nerfed.
I'm going to change my score. I'm going to give it a B.
Giving it a B, huh? I don't think they're a B. I think maybe an A minus, but all right, I'll change yours to a B. Not even a B plus.
I'll give it a B plus.
Okay, I was gonna say I think at least there's a B plus. They're doing fairly well in the meta.
Yeah, I think
Honestly,
they're doing well.
I'm gonna go with Camaron on the B plus. I don't know if the points for some of these things really bump it into that A category.
Well, let's all agree that it is not the old OBR of 3rd edition, where they were sort of broken and it was not fun to play against. And now it's actually an army that's useful.
Yeah, agreed. I still remember the days when you would laugh with your friends playing OBR, asking, "So how many relentless discipline points did you end your game this time with?"
Yeah, for real. All right. Anything else for the overall summary of OBR?
It's a very good faction. It's a little bit too expensive, and it's a little bit one note right now.
Correct. I would agree.
And so, like,
From a
and that's why
competitive standpoint, yes.
yeah, and that's why I can't give it an A, because like you use the catapult and like you're making a mistake. Harbingers are just too expensive and they can get countered really well. Death Riders, they're like the only really good way to do it. Like, it's really good.
Yeah.
However,
and Death Riders.
if your opponent knows what they're doing, they can counter it. They lost all of its healing that it had before, which really sucks. But like the units are decent. Like they're very consistent, which means I can't give it anything lower, because you're going to be consistent in every game.
Yeah,
You
I
also
agree with
have
that.
a very consistent list.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think I've seen two types of lists, and one is a competitive player and one is a fun player.
Fair.
And one is horses and one is not.
Erica, anything extra?
No.
All right.
Completely agree.
Let's go to a completely different type of death army. Soulblight.
Heck yeah,
Which
Soulblight.
which is very, very different. Just the overview of this. Recursion still exists. And they got rid of the grave sites, so there's no such thing as grave sites anymore. It's from the terrain.
They got rid of the grave sites and made them better.
Yes, a lot better. Because every terrain piece is a grave site. Tons of activation shenanigans here. There's a lot of activation stuff that can happen in this army, like fight first and fight last, that type of stuff. Lots of great unique hero choices. All of the Mortarks are really good in their own way, like really good. Like, I really like the Mortarks. You have movement, deep strike, teleports for easy battle tactic or objective control. There's a lot of movement that you can do. Lots of deep strikes, that type of thing. And I think this excels on battle plans that have a lot of objectives. So
Yes.
because you just have so many ways to get around.
Also, I think it has the most unique heroes out of every faction.
Okay, fair.
And you know how many unique heroes there are in this faction?
How many?
16.
Jesus, that's a lot. That is a lot of unique heroes.
That's just the unique heroes.
That's crazy. I think
You know-
there
You know
is
how many of those unique heroes are going to take?
like 4.
Like 4, yeah.
I think that kind of just tells you the internal balance of this book.
It's not great.
It's not great. I mean, I think it's only not good because there's so many. But the ones that are good, it's hard to pick.
Yes.
So
my initial look at this list was that some of the things in here are really good, like really good, and some of the things in here you look at and you're like, wow,
Why?
I feel sorry for you.
like, why? Games Workshop, why?
Like, legitimately, you can look at half the units in this book and just throw them away.
So it's like Stormcast. Got it. Check.
And like, you just feel bad. Like, you look at some of them and you're like, oh, Grandpa, I remember the glory days.
Erica, you got anything? I know you're not a huge Soulblight player, so I'm assuming.
No, I mean, I there is something to be said with having a gigantic menu of options and having only a fraction of it be viable.
Yeah.
I think that means that people are taking their time to write war scrolls and create mechanics that are never going to get used, which from a business standpoint, I'm not sure if that is using the human capital effectively from a Games Workshop perspective.
Fair.
Yeah, I can tell that they looked at some of these guys and they're like, how can we make them unique? Let's give them this small, tiny ability and like not give them like what other factions would have. Let's split like what another faction would have for like their hero and split it between 3 of the Soulblight heroes.
Yeah.
And let's keep the same points.
I mean, of course they have to because there's too many damn units.
Yeah, with a couple of the armies for this particular edition, I feel like instead of cleaning out the attic and taking things to donation or to the dump, they decided to label every box with what is still in the attic and keep everything.
Yeah.
Like there should have been some cleaning out of some of these Warscrolls.
Yeah, so some of these guys, it's like, well, I'm glad that they're still here, but why? Just get out. I'm
Yeah,
never going to use you.
Yeah, we're done here. All right, let's go to the traits. Vampire healing, the hunger is still there, but now it's just a battle trait instead of on every war scroll, which is good.
It got debuffed to a certain extent, but at the same time, like it's still good, but it's not as good as it was before.
I mean, 2d3 is good.
It happens at the end of the turn now instead of in the right.
Oh, when you
combat.
use it. Okay, fair. Yeah. No, you're right. That being said, heal 2d3 if you kill something is also really good too.
Yeah, that's why it's like it's still good.
Yeah.
It's but
you
you
are
can't.
right. You are right.
You can't do the thing where your opponent hits you and then you
And then you
immediately hit
attack
them
back.
back.
Yeah.
And you're back and forth.
Which honestly, that was always a feel bad. I'll be honest.
100%.
So I'm actually good. I'm good with this change. It's still really good, but I agree with you. It's not one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna keep waiting.
I'm actually really okay with this change.
I am too.
It makes it consistent.
The Unquiet Dead, that's the can deploy in the grave, which is fine. It's
Yeah, now instead of 4 points on the battlefield, it's just all terrain. And heroes.
Yeah,
Like,
it's really good. It's really good.
and the best part is it's also your opponent's faction terrain. So
Yeah, that is true. That is a good point.
you
That
just,
is really
you just-
good.
So if you're playing OBR and you set up against a Soulblight player, don't put your terrain feature on the board.
Yeah.
Or my favorite thing is like you're playing against a Skaven player and your Skaven player puts the Null down. It's
you
like
just
so that's where I'm deploying.
Yeah, so that's where I'm gonna deploy and kill his Nahul. Great.
It's hilarious.
The Deathly Invocation is your typical recursion effect.
It's now not D3, it's just 3.
Just 3, yeah, which is good.
However, it's only one unit that gets it instead of all heroes. If I remember correctly.
Well, you can still pick up the 3 Death Rattle and Deadwalker units, but you only
but
pick
before
one
it was
hero. Yeah.
Yeah, before it was
Yeah.
every hero had
Still
Deathly
really good.
Invocation.
It's still
it's still
really
good.
It's still really good. And then obviously, you still have it, and it's still annoying, and it's still obnoxious.
It is a command point now, though.
Yeah, it's a command point, but you can still do it in your opponent's turn and take crap. I've had this happen to me. Still feels real bad.
I think this ability is what saves this faction.
I agree. 100% agree. This is what will keep getting you battle tactics and objectives during the game.
Because my biggest complaint about Soulblight right now is that there's some units that just cannot deal damage. And then there's some units that just deal a lot of damage, but they're all like very specific. And so you don't have things that are like I'm an all-around decent unit.
Graveguard.
And that's Graveguard's like the only unit.
It might be the only unit
that's like that.
Yeah.
But it's like, all right, I'm either taking a hero that deals damage, or I'm taking a roadblock.
Yeah, agreed. Still really good, and it is for a command point, so it's still really good. But I mean, I do agree with you, Camaron. I think this is what's pushing the Soulblight into the upper tiers of the meta right now.
Yeah, if they did not
3
have
inches instead of 9 inches is huge. Now,
Oh,
it's
it's
on
so
your turn, but
huge.
it's-
It is
it's
so
huge.
huge.
without this ability, I don't think Soulblight would be able to like score
I agree.
like almost at all.
100%, Yep. All right. Moving on to the formations. These are all really good. Other than Shaiish, I don't really like that one. It's okay.
I can't remember which one was Shaiish.
Pick one
Remember.
additional target when using the Deathly Invocation. You're not going to use that.
No, you're not going to use that. Don't give it a B minus. It's not going to be used.
All right.
Don't
give
kid
it-
yourself.
All right. The other ones are good. The Bacchanal of Blood, I guess.
The
Bacchanal.
Bacchanal of Blood.
That one's probably the go-to.
Yes.
That's
So
the +1 to casting if you're not, and +1 to wound if you are. So they got rid of the +1 to attacks, because I think it was +1 to attacks in the previous book.
maybe something like that.
It was +1
Well,
to
+1 to
casting and +1 to attacks if you were
Yeah,
in
there you go.
combat. Now it's just +1 to wound, which still is really good.
Yeah.
Um,
But only if you charge. So out of all of these,
no,
I
that's
think
true.
back
That's a
in-
good point. That's a good point.
the Machinella Blood is very good because you don't have that many pluses to cast across the entire board,
Okay.
but you have a lot of spellcasters that you can take.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
you do Machinella Blood, and then you have your key figures that are actually able to cast the spells that you need to cast.
Correct. Yeah.
My other favorite one is the Death March.
Oh,
Because
Ren characteristics.
no, sorry, not Death March, Death Stitch. That's what I went.
Oh, the drag down and torn apart.
Yeah, because that's the one where you can where you can have zombies actually do damage for once.
It's not good.
Hey, it's better than what they're going to do normally.
I mean, I don't know, man. I think I'm either
So-
taking Death March or Bacchanal. I think those are the only two I'm taking.
Because Death Stench is you get to do the pile in and damage. Remember correctly?
Yes. It's like this. It's similar to the Skaven and Dock ability.
Yes. So what that is, and it includes dire wolves, it includes zombies, and it includes fellbats.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So you can have a troop of fellbats or a troop of zombies that are just there to hold the line because that's the only thing they're going to be able to do. And then you get a free pile in, you get a free little damage, and you can choose the same unit to damage. So if you have 3 of these zombies next to a hero, suddenly that hero could take up to 3d3 damage
Okay. I mean, that's fair.
at the end
That's
of
fair.
every turn.
Yeah. I mean, this was good when Erica used it for Doc, so I mean, that's fine.
And the difference between Doc and this is that the Doc are meant to deal damage on their turn, while the zombies and direwolves are not meant to deal damage on their turn.
True. True.
They're there to hold you down.
I still
which means
think
I need one model next to you, and now I deal damage.
I think maybe it's list dependent, but I still like the Bacchanal Blood. I think that one's my favorite.
Oh yeah, it's between those two that you're going to be seeing. Death March is good, but I think like
There's too many people playing Night Haunt to make +1 to rend even useful.
yeah,
Let's just throw that one out there.
That'll go
And-
away. I'm hoping.
and you're going to do that
Never
for,
complain about the meta.
and you're going to see that on Graveguard, which their main thing is that they do mortal wounds, so you're not actually dependent on range.
Yeah. They're still good though. I mean, skeletons as well.
Yeah, no, you're not taking skeletons.
I think skeletons are good.
Man, you're wrong, but all right.
All right.
But Black,
We're gonna get a debate here.
but Black Knights also
Knights, yeah,
can
yeah.
benefit from it
Yeah,
very
yeah.
much. And those are like the 2 units in this army that aren't heroes or blood knights that can deal damage.
I'm surprised you would take zombies over skeletons.
I would take direwolves over both of those.
Okay, well, sure. All right, going to heroic traits. Unbending Well's bad. Everything else is
I'd
good.
rather take fellbats than skeletons.
Me too. I would agree with you on that. Yeah, Unbending Well's bad. The other ones are good.
Let's see.
That's the D6 to control score. It's
Oh yeah, you're
so
always
bad.
taking that. I don't know why the other 2 exist. What's on Hid Rampage?
No, Unbending Will is the control. The other 2 are good. The Lash of the Sire is on a 2-up make a D6, which is really good.
Yeah, that's the one you're taking.
And then the other one's reroll charge rolls for this unit in your charge phase. Could be useful depending on what you have.
It's
wish-
this unit.
Yeah, it's just that unit. in
So you're
your
taking
charge.
out a
I
vamp-
wish the reroll charge was a bubble, so you could give it. to
Well,
someone
that
later.
that would be better. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'd if it was a bubble, I'd probably take it. But other than that, you're only taking on a Vampire Lord. Under
Correct.
Yeah, I wouldn't give
Which
it
they're
an
bad
A-
right now.
when it's only on that unit. I would not give it an A-.
And you know what the problem with the Vampire Lord on the Dragon
It's
is?
bad.
You're going to take the name character every
Yeah,
time.
I know. Prince Vordry. Fair. All right, whatever. We can all agree that you're definitely not taking Unbending Will.
Oh no, you're taking Lash of Sire and then the named Vampire Lord, and you're just giving the named Vampire Lord more movement.
Correct. Which is really good. Really, really good. Cool. And the other thing about that too is you can pick a unit. You don't have to pick the unit that has it, which is really good.
Yeah, which is super good.
Yep. You can put this on a Necromancer and give it to whatever, right?
Yep, and you're actually going to take Necromancer now.
Correct. Really good. Artifacts.
All right, the
These
2
are all
artifacts.
good. I think these are all
the-
good.
I don't like the Shard of Night.
It's my least favorite, but it's fine.
However, the Amulet of Screams and the Orb of Enchantment are both great.
Yeah, I agree. And that's how I had them ranked.
I was at first very meh on the Orb of Enchantment because it's once per battle.
Yes, there's a trick to this, though.
Only a hero gets strike last.
You do
However,
not. It can be any hero in combat.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be the one that has this, which is extremely shenanigan-y.
Yeah. It's very good. However, in a meta where there's a crap ton of people sending out manifestations every turn, including yours, the Amulet of Screams is very good.
Correct. It is very good. You just keep doing. You take D3. You take D3. You take D3.
Yeah, and you go. Most spellcasters only like 5 wounds.
Correct.
Did you do a cast during your turn and the cast during my turn? There's a chance you're dead, and all your manifestations are gone.
Correct.
It's also nice that it's 18 inches, where we've seen a lot of things that are at a 12-inch range.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that gives you just a little bit more reach for that one.
Yeah, and I think
if this was 12 inches, it'd be bad.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't take it if it was 12.
Yeah.
Which comes us to our next our next spells, which are all very short range, and
Correct. They're all very short range, which is the bummer.
I'm very, very sad about our spell lore, to be quite honest.
Going to the spell lore, they're really, really good. But
yes,
God, the range is bad.
Yeah, it's so bad.
These are extremely good spells, though. It just sucks that they're just short range.
So, like, all right, Prison of Grief. Oh, you give someone strike last until your next turn.
Correct.
Great.
It's fantastic.
12-inch range. Yeah. We have the Waste Away. -1 to the damage characteristic of an enemy. Oh, your big guy, now that does a crap ton of 2 damage attacks, now only does 1.
Correct. It's so good.
Really good.
12 range.
I'll argue that Vile Transference isn't actually that good.
Yeah, I didn't mark it that good. It's fine if you're playing against a lot of horde stuff, but
The thing is that it's the only spell that's 18 inches or more. It's our only damage spell.
Yeah.
That's in our lore, and it's everybody else gets 5-up damage. We get a 6
up, and you get to heal D3 though.
Oh,
It's a
oh no!
7 cast, which
It's a 7
if you look at how good the unlimited spell is for OBR, that's a 6 cast.
No, it's a 5 cast.
No, it's a 5 cast. It's even worse. This is a
It's
7.
crazy. That's crazy.
So yeah, I don't know if the casting on
I
that is.
I remember the only plus to cast is from taking the battle formation, and only for vampires not in combat.
Correct. And you get a +1 next to it. I mean, I don't think their problem is getting the 7. I just think it's the range of the spell.
No. Well, I mean, you're kind of pegged into putting your caster with a big screen and shoving it in.
Yes.
Yeah.
But is that gonna win you games?
I mean, I could definitely take these down just because of the range, but they're really good spells. It's just the range. It's the problem.
It's the range, and they're all 7 casts.
Correct. Yeah. Although I do think that Prison of Grief and Waste Away should be 7 cast.
I agree.
Because they're really good.
It still means that it's a 7 cast.
I think they did that because of the +1 battle formation. I do.
Yeah, which really sucks because now if you don't take that battle formation, now you just don't get it.
Yeah.
And remember, it's only when you're not in combat, so all those vampires that are meant to be in combat, now they don't get that plus to cast.
Just take a bunch of Vampire Lords. You'll be fine.
No, don't do that.
They're actually not bad. They're not terrible.
I would disagree.
We'll get there. All right. Unique heroes. These are all really good. It just depends on what flavor you want. Manfred is extremely good with Graveguard, and he's good with the
I think
Church.
Manfred is good. I think Manfred's actually
Auto-include?
probably so you're either going to take Manfred or you're going to take Vordrya.
Vordrya, yeah. I think
those are like the 2 best War Scrolls.
again.
probably in
I
this
think if you're
spectrum.
taking Graveguard, you're taking Manfred. If you're taking Blood Knights, you're taking Vordrya.
Why just Graveguard? He buffs all the he buffs all the Black Knights.
Well, I'm just saying. Okay. Sorry, maybe not Graveguard. I just think Graveguard's the one that comes to mind when I think of like damage.
Yeah,
like super damage.
Manfred's the guy that you take if you want to really mess up your opponent.
Yeah, I do like Manfred.
Because he can redeploy into opponent. into opponent's movement, and that messes things up
Correct.
really bad.
And he gets strike first when he does it.
It's just when he charges, he gets strike first.
Yep.
He can have other people around him redeploy and go into opponents.
Yeah.
His redeploy into combat is basically like having a counter charge
Mhm.
that is a 1 CP instead of 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can redeploy into like range units, so now they don't get range attacks if they get too close. You can take away people's charge bonuses.
Can
Like,
you? Oh man! So what's the range on that? Hold on. What
It's
is
a
that?
12-inch aura around
So,
him.
so what you can do? Correct me if I'm wrong. You can put something up from the graveyard in their turn, and they have to stay outside. Oh no, it's your turn. That's 3 inches.
Yeah. On
Yeah.
our turn, it's 3 inches.
It's still good
Yes.
because you just redeploy the 3 inches and get something into combat, and you don't have to worry about the charge.
Like, super good.
There's ways to definitely do
And
some
remember,
shenanigans there.
like, you're considered in combat if you're just within 3 inches of them. I don't need to redeploy into like 1 inch away from you. I just need to be 3 inches away from you.
Yeah.
Which means if you're not, what was it, 8 inches away from me, I could still pull you into combat.
Correct. Yeah. Pretty good. Vordry, I played against him in one of my games. He's good. I just wasn't impressed.
He works very. He's one of the units where you have to take Blood Knights with him,
Okay.
and if you let him go and do his job for like the first round or two, you're just going to snowball out.
Just because of the Saint of Slaughter, the buff effects.
Yeah, and like even then, he can give himself first strike first turn, and so he can be an anti alpha strike.
Okay.
And he hits hard. He makes Blood
A lot of
Knights.
attacks.
Yeah, he makes Blood Knights some of the strongest units in the game, but Blood Knights are only the strongest unit in the game if he's there and he gets their buff.
Correct. You have to get the buff. I
That
think.
being said, you almost have to save a CP for him to give him all out attack because 4-ups are.
Oh yeah, it's rough, and that's what I experienced. Is like whenever he got into combat with anything that I had, he just couldn't do enough damage. Now, that being said, oh no, I lost people. I lost them. Waiting. There we go. You're back. I was gonna say, that being said, when I did play the person who was playing with Prince Vordry, I was playing Night Haunt, so it doesn't really, it can't really put anything into that. He's good.
In comparison, Prince Vordry is probably the heaviest hitter in this book.
Okay, that's fair. I was unimpressed when I saw him, but at the end of the day, like, I was playing Night Haunt, so it's like.
Yeah, Night Haunt counters him pretty well.
Yeah. I do like him though. He is good. Neferata is also a really good option. She's got a lot of utility pieces and like movement shenanigan type deal
Yeah, she's very good. She's just not as good
as Manfred.
as Manfred or the other ones.
Yeah.
Like she can be a melee threat. She has an instant kill ability, which is always great. She can make friendly Deathwalker infantry get a free move. Sadly, it's only infantry, which I really don't like, and that's the reason why she's not like
Top tier.
taken that much.
Yeah.
And a -1 to hit aura is just always good.
Yeah, that's only 6 inches though.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
isn't the best.
Yeah.
I want to put her in the A tier just because if they made it to where cavalry could get it, I think she'd easily be A.
Okay.
I don't think she should be more expensive than Manfred.
Agreed.
That
I
is
don't know
weird,
why
right?
Stretching
That is
the
weird that
imagination.
she
I
is
do
more
not think
expensive.
She should be more expensive.
Yeah, that is weird. I
I
think
think-
it's because of the dark mist ability or spell. I really do.
I still don't think she should be more than Manfred.
I don't think the Dark Mist is only good on
Blood Knights.
Blood Knights.
But it's really good on Blood Knights.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
really
really good on Blood Knights.
Fair.
But then you're also putting yourself into this whole, like, okay, if this is your menu option, you have to take
Yeah, and
X, Y, and Z to get the bang for your buck.
so this is one of my complaints of Soulblight, is that some things are just really expensive. Because in order to get the best out of Neferata, you need Blood Knights, which means you're going to need to reinforce Blood Knights,
Yep.
which means you're also going, since you're using Blood Knights, you're going to need to take Prince Vordariah. So now that's 3/4 of your army right there.
Yeah.
And you're pretty much auto include those if you want the mechanics to do
Yep.
well. So yeah, you're getting cornered into making certain list choices, but I think we had the same thing with OBR. Like you're cornered into taking certain things.
If she goes down to 400 points, do you take her?
I'm much more likely to take her.
Okay. So I think it's a point issue then.
Yeah.
460 is too much.
There are a lot of units, especially heroes,
That are too expensive.
that in this faction that are just way too expensive for what they do.
Agreed.
Neferata's one. Prince Vordariah, I think, is actually pretty good there, just because his buff is just ludicrously good.
Yeah.
Luca Vey is very good.
He's really good. I hate the fact that he lost the save. I mean, I know he was a 3-up ignoring 1 rend, but now he's a 4-up ignoring 1 rend, which is still really good.
Yeah,
But
so
he's a lot easier to kill now.
she lost. That's another thing I've seen. A lot of the people here lost a lot, and they kept the same points, or they became more expensive. And like it really hurts their playstyle. Like the playstyle of this faction changed a lot.
Yeah.
And like Luca Vey is pretty good. Like the stat blocks are there. Like you look at it and you're like, all right, that's pretty great. She has a great spell. It's just
320 points.
the army is surprisingly very easy to kill,
Yeah, I agree.
especially the heroes.
Yeah, I took out Luca Vey like very quickly. I was very surprised with that.
Yeah, she's only 11 health, 4-up save.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
For 320 points. Yeah, she hits decently hard. But like she has flying, so she can't use cover. All the heroes you have flying, so they can't use cover, except for some of them.
Correct.
They're just too expensive.
Yeah, I agree. They could come down a bit. I think Manfred will actually go up in price.
Either go up to price or stay the same. Like he's good.
If he goes up, it won't be much though. Yeah.
He's not groundbreaking.
All right. Next table. The only two that I really liked here. I mean, they're all decent. They're all okay. But the two that I really liked was Beldama and Ivya Volga.
Ivya Volga.
Yeah. Because she's a bonus hero. If she wasn't a bonus hero, I wouldn't like it. But she's okay.
She's only a bonus hero if you take Belladonna or Radikar, though.
Okay. Sure.
So-
Radikar is good too, but man, he's expensive. 350 points.
All right,
is
this is my
pricey.
rundown. Vengori Lord, way too expensive.
Yes.
Radikar the Wolf. You know what? He actually got a glow up.
He did. I still don't think man, I don't know. I don't know if I take him or the Beast. The Beast is really good, but 350 points is outrageous.
All right, you know when I played Soulblight, Radikar the Beast is probably one of my favorite.
Yes, and he was great. And he's still
units in the
good.
game.
But
He's
not
not
350. Not 350 points good.
Not 350 points.
Yeah.
They made his buff, where it was penalty to hit and miss him, a spell that he has to cast. And it only works during the turn that you cast it.
Yeah.
So during your opponent's turn, he doesn't get it. No, he's like I love him, but he is not 350.
I can't believe they put him at 350. It's crazy, man. That is. Now, granted, 6 attacks, 3 threes, 2 red, and 3 damage. Crit
he
mortal.
hits like a truck.
He hits like a truck, but 350 points is way too much.
I've
for
seen him die in one turn. I've seen him die from a cover fire.
Yeah. Beldama is obviously very good still, though.
I'm actually sad about Belladonna.
She's not as good as she used to.
She lost almost all of her uniqueness.
Yeah, the whole like spell, and then putting a wolf
She lost her spell that makes the direwolves have like crit ×2 or something like that. She lost her damage spell, and she lost her plus to gas. Like,
and heavy direwolf list, I still think you put her in though.
my problem with that is that her buff to direwolves only lasts for the turn she casts it.
For the rest of the turn.
because it's not
yeah.
till your next hero phase.
No.
So you would
Which
have to
means-
cast this in. You'd have to use magical intervention in order to get the
Yeah.
most out of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which
So
means-
you're auto including a CP in order to get
And an A
Mhm.
cast.
need out of her.
And remember, there's no buff to cast either, unless you take the Bacchanal.
Mhm.
So that means that you cast your spell, your direwolves get a slight buff. They're still companion attacks. The only thing they really get is a slight hit buff, and they're now 10 models on objectives, which you go ahead and take that objective and you immediately lose it because now they're back to 1 model. So that just gives your opponent a free battle tactic for taking a point.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. No, the end of the turn that sucks. That's
Yeah.
that
Like,
sucks.
looks like she needs to go down to a B plus, A.
Maybe.
And
yeah.
Evia Volga, she's decent, but she's only 5 wounds.
I know 5 wounds for 190. That's what I said. Is she's really pricey for 5 wounds, but man, she
I
can
don't even
do
think
some.
she's a spellcaster either.
She is. She's a wizard one.
She's a wizard?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
So she's got that going for her. I mean, she's
The -2 to attack characteristics
for monsters is really good.
That's really good.
That's really good.
Agreed.
But you've got to be in combat, and she ain't gonna make it.
Yeah.
5
Yeah.
wounds, 5 up save. She's not gonna.
So
last.
they're going to be -2 attacks and -1 to hits.
for 1 turn,
Well, I
On
mean,
a 5-up save.
yeah.
and that's only if she is still there. If the other person strikes first and gets rid of her, now you're good to go.
I think she is a annoyance for the opponent. That's all.
I don't know what you're talking. You're just going to cover fire off the map.
I mean, yeah. If you, yeah.
Just get
I
rid of
mean,
her,
sure,
and you don't have to worry about it.
sure.
Boom, 1 cover fire.
You know,
and-
that being said, I haven't seen a whole lot of shooting.
Oh man, you have not been playing games.
I don't. Well, I mean, other than like Lumineth.
He's been playing a lot against me, and I don't believe in shooting in this particular
Yeah.
rendition.
Um,
so I'm just like
there are some shooting in it. It's like Kurnoth Hunters, the ones that you're seeing, Kurnoth Hunters, Blizzbarbs, and
All of Luna.
Lumineth. Yeah, all of Lumineth. Yes. That being said, that is not gonna last. I don't think. We'll see.
I agree. Avivoka, I think, is great on paper, not in practice.
Fair. Okay. Fair. Some definitely downsides in here. The Radikar the Beast and Belladonna being the biggest.
And those are like my 2 favorite models.
Yeah. All of these are bad except for Torgilius, I think.
All right.
Not bad. Not bad.
Gorse,
But
they're all retainers. Gorslav,
he's fine.
meh.
He's fine. Literally, he's
Uh,
fine.
Watch Captain Halgrim, just throw
Pass.
him away.
Just throw him in the trash.
Lady Annika, I think is another one of those ones where it's great on paper, but not in practice.
Even with a 4 board, yeah.
I think out of all of them, Torgilius and Lady Annika are the ones that you might get some
Correct.
use out of.
That's what I said too. Yep.
Kritza, just throw him away. There's no point of him. And Torgilius is one of the best models in this game. Just so good.
The 2d6 attacks is just so obnoxious.
It's just he's this little rinky dinky little old man with
it's
a
like
whole bunch of
having a
familiars.
yoga on the board.
Exactly. He's just there, and he's just oh no, I'm over here.
Jed
Don't
has
look at-"
taken this guy against me, and I don't think he's changed much from the old book. At least his shooting
he got
attack.
better.
Oh, okay. Well, because it's now D3 damage instead of 1, right?
It used to be 2.
Okay. But yeah, I can't tell you how many times Jed has used this guy against me, and he would roll like 11 or 10, and then
and
just
it's
take
just
down
like-
a unit. And I was like, what
Oh,
just
no.
happened?
This rinky dinky little necromancer
For
sitting
real.
in the back just went ahead and just blast you from across the map, killing you.
I was like,
this
I was just like, okay, I guess that's a thing.
And this is after you get another heal to all of your summonable units.
Yes.
And he gets a spellcast. Like he's
Good.
probably like the MVP of this entire
If
book
he
right now.
wasn't a bonus hero, he would have gone down in value.
I've made lists, and even without having bonus heroes or anything like that, I've still put him in.
That's fair.
I put him in as a drop because he's that good.
Yeah, he is really good. I agree. He
If you're
definitely made my
not
list.
going vampire spam, you're taking him.
Okay, moving on. Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon. That's a pass. He's way too expensive and way too swingy.
Can we also just talk about how we're still on Hero Warscrolls?
Yeah, for real. Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon's a pass. He's way too expensive. I like the Vampire Lord. I'm surprised you don't with his teleport shenanigans.
All right. You know why I don't like him, right? Because his teleport's a core ability. Which means you
Yes.
go ahead and go, I'm going to teleport. And then you fail, and then he does nothing.
But he doesn't have any other purpose. Like the last book, he gave +1 to attacks to something.
And you think that's a good thing?
No, I don't. But this guy has taken objectives and battle tactics from me multiple times.
Yeah, but he's never consistent. He's one dinky hero, which is a drop,
Yeah.
that on a 3-up might do something. And why would you teleport when you could just drop a dead unit on an objective?
Yeah, but you can drop a dead unit on objective and then get behind them.
He's not going to do anything. The most the
Yeah,
Vampire Lord's
alright.
going to do is kill a lone hero, which if your opponent sees there's a Vampire Lord, you just go, I'm not going to leave my heroes alone.
Yeah.
I like that he's 160. I don't think he's an A+.
Hey, you know what? You
He's
can
by far not an A+.
you can redeploy him into a hero.
Uh,
hey,
I guess.
hey, you can. All right. Okay, maybe I'm a little
Just because
too.
you can doesn't mean you should.
Maybe
Mm.
I'm a little high on this guy,
Right.
but I will say this guy did do a lot of work in the game that I played.
Okay, I still think he should not be an A+.
By far, he's not an A+.
Okay, well
For a drop, I'd rather have Belladonna.
All right, so we're going with B
Yeah,
then.
now
I don't think it's. I
when
think it's
you
a B
gave,
plus.
What? The Chamberlain? You only made the Chamberlain an A.
Yeah, oh, you think this guy's better than the Chamberlain? This guy's
Okay.
the Vampire Lord's going to drop right next to the Chamberlain, and then Chamberlain's going to go, ooh, and then blow him off the map.
All right, okay. I'm not a Soulblight player, clearly. Yeah, okay. Maybe I was too high on him. He's fine. He's fine. I still think he's good to take stuff from your opponent, but with being able to teleport other things like from the terrain, sure, maybe he's not that good.
You have other things you could take.
Sure.
Heck, for less points, you could take Vargulfs, and it does the exact same thing, except more wounds and more attacks.
And not its own regiment.
And not its own drop.
It's fair. Kato, he's fine.
Yeah, he exists.
He's fine.
He's fine.
And then Bloodseeker and Mortis Engine. Come on, guys. We had a chance. Mortis Engine is.
I love the Mortis
see.
Engine.
I can see it being used. It's still bad.
If he was 40 points less,
sure.
I would
yeah,
say that
for
he's
240 points, he's not worth it.
The problem is that he's his own drop, and he requires spell casts, and which means that you require more drops.
Correct. It's got potential. The Mortis Engine's got potential. The Bloodseeker Paladin, garbage. Are you kidding me? It's 250 points for this thing?
Yeah.
Get out of here, man.
I'd rather have the Vampire Lord.
It is such a cool model too. It sucks that they had a chance to make this thing good and they still didn't do it.
The Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon, it has its uses.
It's bad.
I'd rather have that than the Vampire Lord. He's too expensive, but
It is way too
at least
expensive.
Right now, the hate is real.
Vampire Lord is one of my most hated models right now. I hate that bastard. And I have 3 different versions.
I have
of the
3 different
Vampire Lord.
versions of it too. I have 3 different versions
Tell us
of
how you
it.
really feel.
Yeah. And
Makes me
when we
sad.
get to the Army of Renown and the whole meme of you could just take Vampire Lords, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't even do it for the meme.
All right, moving on. We're still into heroes, by the way.
We're still in here.
Coven Throne is a pass. White King is a pass. Jeez, White King's literally trash. Just literally.
I
for
could
the-
see someone taking the White King
Legit, the white
Was
no White King on
Grave-
Skeletal
It was a
Steed.
freebie in a model pack.
The
and they
Skeletal
had
Steed,
it.
maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not taking the White King as its own drop. You're insane. That thing's literally trash.
He's pretty bad. I'd rather
Um,
take him than the Vampire Lord, though.
Wow. I disagree on that one. That one I firmly disagree on.
At least this one can buff some of my other people.
Maybe if it actually can get anywhere.
He's
White
sticking with the Graveyard.
White King on Skeletal Steed's fine.
And
You're
you,
gonna use that.
and
with
you know what?
flag.
I'm still on this White King. At least I can bring him back from the dead.
Okay, sure.
And you know what?
That
And I can bring him
useless
back from the dead onto an objective, and still be more consistent than that Vampire Lord.
Sure. Necromancer is gonna be an include, especially if you're taking Graveguard. It's just
Oh,
like,
yeah, the Necromancer's probably an auto include for most lists, unless you're going Vampire only.
yes, I agree.
His ability is just so good.
Yeah.
Use it on Black Knights. Use it on Graveguard.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
I like Sekar as well. I think she's
too expensive.
super cool, but yeah, she's too expensive. That's what I said too. She's just too expensive.
260 points.
I know.
Holy cow!
For a 6-wound hero, like that is not good, man.
And you're taking that for a 6-wound hero that is there for
She's
being
so cool
tanky?
looking though. She's such a good looking model.
She's a double caster, which is great, but she's a double caster that's tanky.
It's gonna be hard to kill her.
Okay, damn. Yeah, like she's hard to kill.
But
It's
Jesus,
just
like 260 points is not worth it.
the thing is like it's going to be like your opponent's going to try to kill
Alright,
her,
are
and
you
it's going to
taking-
fail 60% of the time, but that 40% she's going to
Are
instantly
you
die.
taking Sekar or are you taking Vampire Lord?
Oh, I'd rather take Sekar.
Me too. Alright. I think we're done with heroes.
I can't believe you rated the Vampire Lord an A+.
I thought it would, like, the teleporting is always good in this edition.
It's okay. We all make mistakes.
Alright, moving on. Non-hero.
Non-hero.
Yes. Moving on.
Yay!
Bloodborne are actually okay. The only thing I hate about Bloodborne is you can't reinforce them.
Yep, that's what got me away from them. You can't reinforce them, and they're just slightly too expensive.
I agree. If you could reinforce these guys would be pretty good.
It's 150 points for, was it 9 wounds and 9 attacks?
Yeah.
Which is just, it's not worth it.
Yeah, it sucks. I think they're really good if you could reinforce them, but yeah. Varshir are
Varshir, just
literally
Toss them away.
trash. Just throw them in the trash can.
And again, we're getting to some of those units that probably should have been put in the donate pile when we cleaned out the
Well,
attic.
they couldn't
Yeah.
because wasn't Varshir, isn't that the game?
Yeah, the Virga's Bloodborne, Varskir, the Night Guard, they're all part of the board game.
Night Guard are okay.
Yeah,
They're
but
fine.
It's the spin-off game.
Yeah, I forget what it's called. It's actually a pretty fun board game, but
We still haven't finished it. We got like four rounds in, and then we never finished it. Maybe we'll go back and play
We're
that.
closer than that.
yeah, Varskir, throw them away. Night Guard, throw them away.
I don't think Night Guard are that bad, but you're just taking something else. I don't think they're that bad though.
You're taking something else. It's 120 points for 2 models that are slow, and they're not that good.
I mean, they kind of hit like a truck though.
Eh,
Okay,
Let's
they
see.
can hit like a truck. They're 2 attacks,
yeah.
force 2s, 2 red, 3 damage.
Like
They're 4 wounds each. Yeah, you're probably not taking them. True Blades are not good.
they have a use at least.
I don't.
I'd rather
It's
take
on a
them than the
4-up
Vampire
though.
Lord.
Like I'm not taking them.
Just for the chance of a strike
Read this
last.
shirt.
Yeah.
Blood
That's
Knights.
just not the Vampire Lord.
Jesus. Blood Knights obviously are a win in this book. I think they're really good.
Agreed. My only problem with them is that you have to take the name Prince Bordrea.
Yes.
I think there's slightly too many points, especially when you compare them to other factions.
I don't know, man. 3-up save is pretty good. I don't know. I think they're pretty good. I don't think they're doing the same role as
I compare them to
like Death
Agronons.
Riders.
I compare them to Dawn Riders. Dawn Riders are cheaper, faster, do more damage.
But they're the less tanky. The
Oh,
Blood
they're
Knights are
3 up
just.
save. What are you talking about? You could also give them a 5 up board as well.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I mean, sure. I still think they're good.
And they can have shooting reinforcements.
Okay, Lumineth is a problem though. Let's just that they're obviously a problem.
My problem with Blood Knights is that they are pointed in a way that they're expecting you to take Prince Rodrea. But so if you don't take Prince Rodrea, they're too expensive.
Sure. Vargeist are good. The only
decent.
reason I don't like Vargeist, and they should probably go down a little bit. The only reason I don't like Vargeist is there is a cheaper, better unit that does the same job.
And
That's the
what
problem.
unit is that?
Felbats.
Felbats can't teleport.
Yeah, but Felbats are what, 90 points?
90 points,
Okay,
yeah.
there's my counter argument.
But Vargeist are also vampires, which means when you charge, you get +1 to wound.
Sure.
And they heal at the end of the turn.
Yeah,
But Felbats, you could just resurrect, so...
correct. I'm probably still taking Felbats.
Yeah.
Um,
I could see an argument to take 1 unit of Vargeist.
sure.
Just for the teleport.
Sure. I can see that. They're 160 points. They're not terrible. They're fine.
Hey, it's the same points as a Vampire Lord. And it's not a drop.
Okay, all right.
I still feel like they were trying really, really hard to make some of the Cursed City models viable, and it's just like, okay, they should have stayed.
Yeah, let's see. Cursed City viability, we have Belladonna, which wasn't in Cursed City. We have the Beast, which wasn't in Cursed City. We have Torgilius. Torgilius is the model.
That's the one. That's the guy.
That's the guy you want.
Zombie Dragon, nope. Terrorgeist, nope.
Agreed.
Black Knights, yep. They're great for crit mortals on charge. They're good.
I think they're in a great position because they're not overpowered.
Which means they're not going to go open price.
Yes, but I think they're just good enough to be pretty great.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the crit mortals on charge is really good.
They're the tankiest, the tankiest unit in probably the entire book.
Minus Blood Knights.
I might do Black Knights above them just because I can get more models and I can resurrect them.
Oh, fair. The resurrection, sure. Yeah. Graveguard are really good. I think they are definitely the best infantry in this book. I think they got a glow up too, didn't they? Because yes and no. They lost the +1 to attacks.
Yeah. So they lost
Vampire
damage
Lord.
and they lost attacks.
But they went up.
But they
in
gained
defense.
a save.
Yes, which is relevant.
So a lot of people argue that they actually they actually became worse, and I can see that argument.
I don't know. Man.
Because they lost 2 damage attack, and they lost the ability to get 3 attacks easily.
Yeah, Crit Mortal's really good in this edition, but yeah, sure.
And
I guess
that's
they're
the
more
problem.
tanky now than they were. So yeah, maybe they're not nearly. You don't need them to be tanky. You need them to do damage.
No, they're still a very good unit, especially when you compare them to all the other units in this
Sure,
book.
like they're the only ones that are gonna put out damage. Right.
Yeah. Again, this book lacks
Well-
units that can consistently put out damage.
Yeah, and when you're looking at 150 points for this unit of infantry versus 150 points for zombies, which are going to do absolutely nothing and die very quickly.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
Zombies are so bad.
got the shaft.
All right. Corpse cart.
Bad.
Useless.
Literally
It's
bad. They had one chance to even bring back the rules it had, and they would have been fine. But they made it so much worse. It's so bad.
So bad.
So bad.
Dire
wait,
Wolves.
hold on.
Oh god.
Oh my god. The corpse cart is so bad that the corpse cart in the Regiment of Renown is better than in the actual army it's supposed to be in. It's why are we like this, Games Workshop? Why?
So this and the zombies they're paying for the sins of their past.
For real. Jesus.
I wouldn't put a corpse cart in my army if it was 60 points.
I don't know if it was free if I would take it. I don't know. It's
if it was free I'd take it. I'd put it in the corner for an anti-teleport.
Sure.
It would sit there the entire turn.
It's bad, man. It's real bad.
It's on the same point value as a random useless manifestation.
By the way, Felbats are the same price.
Yeah.
And extremely way more useful. Direwolves are... they got a
Direwolves-
debuff. They're
yeah,
paying for their
Direwolves,
sins. But
they also paid a little bit, but they're still
They're still
at
decent.
a point where they're
still decent. Yeah.
Their big flaw is everything is companion tech for them.
Yes, you can't buff them.
And they're beasts, so they're only one
Yes.
on objective. And a lot of the hero units are all about buffing your summonable units, like direwolves.
And you
And
can't
because
do
they're
that.
companion, you can't do it.
Yeah. Honestly,
Yeah.
it needed to be happening because direwolves were a problem in the last edition. They just were.
Yeah.
They were.
I wish they weren't beasts, but it makes sense.
Hey, you take Baldama, you're good.
No.
And then Deadwalker zombies, you literally are only taking
All right,
these guys for bodies. That is literally all you're taking.
But
So-
you wouldn't take these for bodies. Take Graveguard for bodies instead.
No, but these are cheaper.
No, they're the same points.
No.
Yes, but you get
both
20 of them versus the Graveguard.
Yeah. All right, so this is, you know how we were talking about trolls and trogs, how they took trogs and they're like, we need to buff these guys, and so they gave them a whole bunch of buffs and then kept the same point values. On these ones, they were like, man, we need to debuff them, so they took every single thing away from
They
them,
did.
and they're
They're
like,
so bad.
ooh, let's keep it, and then they kept the same point value.
By the way, 20 of these Deadwalker zombies are 20 points less than 3 rockets. Just saying.
These, and then they gave the abilities that the zombie had, and they gave it to things like squigs, and they just gave the zombies a weaker version of it.
They're paying for their sins for sure because these guys
They-
are terrible. These guys are
If these
literally
guys-
terrible.
Were 100 points, I might take them.
No, I'd take skeletons.
Yeah, see, I'm with Eric on this.
And see, if they're 100
If
points,
they
I
were,
take them because they're 20.
100 points,
they're 20
I would rather
bodies.
have skeletons.
I take them for the bodies, and for the death stench.
They're bad. They're bad. They're so bad.
But you can return D3 skeletons. So
I do like the skeletons. I know what's... Alright, I'll just get into it. Let's do it. Death Rattle Skeletons and Felbat. Felbats, awesome. Fantastic. I'm
they're
taking
so-
1 or 2 of these in my list.
Yeah, they're battle tactics.
Yep.
And
they're
death stench. They're that unit that's just annoying enough for your opponent to go, do I want to dedicate like a whole unit to kill these guys? And then they don't, and then the Felbats survive, and then they continue to be annoying as they resurrect.
Alright, skeletons. For 100 points, you get 10 of these. I still like them. I still like them.
But
I-
4 up is so bad.
Well, you're not doing it for damage.
Skeletons
You're
are
doing it
So
for...
bad.
You're
I
doing
know,
it
but
for...
there's still a 5-up save.
I still
And you
think
wanna,
they're...
like.
They're better than zombies!
Yes. That's not
I
hard,
think
though.
they're better than zombies.
Yes.
At 100
Which-
points, I'm taking these over zombies any day of the week.
Are they better than the Vampire Lord?
Okay, alright.
Ooh, you know, that's a good question.
Okay. Ooh, that is it. Which one would you rather have? Skeletons or Vampire Lord?
You know what? I'd probably take the Vampire Lord.
Wow! I actually would have taken the skeletons.
Skeletons.
He'd rather have Yoda.
I'd- Oh yeah, I'd rather get it. My problem with them is that I see them being good at reinforced, which means they're 200 points, and then I compare that to like clan rats and stuff like that, and it's just not a question.
Aren't these
Like-
better than clan rats?
No, not at all.
Aren't clan... Ooh, clan rats are 4... No, they're 4s and 4s, aren't they?
So clan rats. Let's go ahead and look at.
Okay,
them.
hold on. There's a lot more... We can't put the two together because there's a lot more ways to buff clan rats.
Oh man, thanks for proving my point.
Okay, so skeletons, you're saying you can't buff them. I get what you're saying.
You can't buff them. Clan rats have crit auto wound. Like they have the same exact ability, and for 20 of them, it's 160 points instead of 200 points for clan rats.
Fair. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because you get 20 of them. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
It's just like you use
That being said,
skeletons.
Back to
I-
our point. Are you taking these over zombies? Zombies are really bad, dude. They're really bad.
Zombies' only use is for death stench, as well as for 40 models on an objective. Sorry, 20 models on an objective.
Sure.
And like, they're both bad.
We've fallen so far from this like everyone and their grandmother takes Soulblight to.
If skeletons were 80 points, I think they would be actually pretty great, because you just take 2 units of
20.
skeletons, no, just 2 units of 10, and then use them as screens.
Okay, fair.
Yeah,
That's
I
fair.
could-
And then your opponent has to focus on them to get rid of them, or they're going to come back. And then I think their ability is very good.
I'd rather play Doc with Witch Elves.
Wow. Okay. All right. we're moving
Exactly.
on.
I'm just saying, like, I wasn't sold on Soulblight before, and I certainly am not now.
Yeah, like the summonable besides Black Knight's Graveguard, Black Knights and Graveguard are just great. Fellbats and Direwolves are okay. They're pretty okay. They're good. And then everything else sucks.
Yeah. Guess what else sucks? All the regiments are renowned in this. Not good.
Hey, look at
Okay.
that.
Have we looked at anything where you guys have been like, Regiments of Renown are awesome?
Yeah,
for
I think Black Talons are good in order. I
Yeah.
think they're very useful. And then
Destruction has some great ones.
yeah, but we haven't got there yet. But yes, Destruction
Yeah.
has some of the best. I do think these Regiments of Renown are good. They're just super expensive.
Yeah, they're just too
They're
expensive.
just super expensive.
And that's because almost all of them are Soulblight ones, and all their stuff is overcost.
Yeah, and you're getting a more tart crate, which is you're
Yeah.
paying for it. I still think it's hilarious though that the Soulblight corpse cart is better in the Regiment of Renown than it is in the actual army it's supposed to be in. It's so stupid. Come on, guys. Even if they would have given, if the corpse cart would have had that ability in Soulblight, at least there's a reason to take it.
It would have a use.
Yes,
You're
and I
right.
think it's still good. Like I think a 12-inch aura of -1 to wound or -1 to ward is really good. but-
Agreed. Like that's actually viable.
Yes, and I would actually think about taking it. I would think about taking a corpse cart, whereas now it's just in the It's just in the trash. There's no reason to take it.
Yep.
I can't
Agreed.
believe that it's like that. All right. Then the Army of Renown.
No.
Nope. I just said nope. Just nope.
Its biggest strength is that you could take an infinite amount of vampire lords.
Yeah, let's do it. They're so good though. All right.
And you know my opinion on vampire lords.
I wish this was good because Sekar is such a cool model, man. I really like her.
Agreed.
She's so cool.
100% agreed.
All right, and then overview. Too many heroes. Just 100% too many heroes.
16 named heroes.
Believe it or not, though, this is actually doing well in the meta. It's actually doing fairly well.
So I'll tell you exactly why it's good
Okay.
in the meta. It has the same thing with what Skaven can do, is that it's really easy to get points with them,
Yes. Yep.
but like that's all they can really do is
Yeah.
get points. They can't really kill people. They like they're not good. They're not going to be an army that wipes the board. Like
They're
it's
just
almost
gonna
impossible
get
for
you
them.
with teleporting and like dropping from a terrain and stuff like that.
Yeah, like 6 objective maps. They're gonna take the points every point.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just that like it's really easy for new players to be like, all right, I'm going to put something on this point. I'm going to go ahead and just take this. And like, so it means it's really good to like do things like get points, win the game and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good army per se. I think it has a lot of lacking things with them. It's just really easy for them to get points,
Yeah. Agreed.
which at the end of the game, it's a point-based game.
Yep. There are some key combos in the army. We already talked about it, like Blood Knights and Prince Vordry, stuff like that. Belladonna.
I would go
Wolves.
as far as to say there's some there's some chain reaction takes. Like if you take this hero,
You
you've
have to take
gotta take certain things, which really corners your choices. So
Yep.
even though you say there's tons of variety in the index, are you actually capitalizing on that variety?
Variety. I mean variety, as in, it's not like last edition where you win on 120 zombies, right?
That's fair.
Right. So there's more variety than there used to be. Yes, you still have key combos, but I mean, you can still make things work by not taking. Like you could take Blood Knights and not take Prince Vordry, and it would still be fine. You're just gonna get a better investment by taking both of them. right?
Yeah.
So that's all I mean by tons of variety. Anything else that I missed? You still keep your B, Cameron?
Yeah. I don't think it's an A army.
I
Like,
think
it
it's
might-
an A minus.
I think it lacks the damage potential.
From what
to
it used
be-
to be, 100%. Yeah, I agree.
There's just so many like it wins off of bodies and objectives, and that is it.
What about if we went back to the Regiments of Renown? One of the good damage dealers in the Regiments of Renown is the 4 Morghast. Would you consider that? It's just too
No.
expensive.
It's too expensive because the reason why you have so many points is because you have so many chaff people you can bring up from.
Could
You
still
can
do
resurrect.
it. Yeah, but it is a lot of points, man. It's like 800 points or something stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which you need that for all your chaff.
Yeah. That's fair.
Like for example, what I mean by like this guy is not going to be a damager. Is there any combo in this book that you think can actually one turn a giant?
No. I mean, maybe like Prince Vordry and like 10 Blood Knights, but like you gotta.
Yeah, but the Blood Knights are only getting their buff after they kill a unit, which means they have to already kill a.
They're still getting what? They still get the charge +1. But I don't think you're taking down a Gargantel.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a good test of whether or not the army can pack a punch.
And like the Vordry and the Blood Knights, that is like the most damaging
Yeah,
thing you can do
yeah.
in this army.
Even if you were to take like 20. Oh no, Graveguard come in. They come in
Come
10.
packs of 10.
Okay. Even if you took 20 of those, you still wouldn't be able to do it.
That's 40 attacks at 3s minus
Yeah, you
1/1
still
mortal
wouldn't.
ones. You're not going to kill it.
Yeah, no, I don't think
I just
there
think
is.
for the damage output, a lot of the units are really high in point value.
The heroes are too expensive. The monster heroes specifically are too expensive.
You know what you can do though? You can take a Vampire Lord.
And then do what?
And teleport it.
Cry?
Maybe. All right, Erica.
With the
Anything?
blow roll? No, it ain't moving.
Any other final comments?
No. I really like it. I can't wait for points. I'm gonna try. Depending on what points are, this is the army I want to do.
I also have this in my potential teams list, so we'll see. All right, now that we have gone through all 3 Grand Alliances, we got 1 left. Here's kind of our rankings throughout. I need to change yours though, right?
Yeah.
For OBR. You said, I think I said A minus.
Give it a B, B+.
So far, we're pretty similar. There's a couple ones that like I don't like Flesh Eaters. I do not think they're very good.
So that A right there is what I want it to be.
Fair.
You can't just wish armies.
I can do whatever I want.
Yeah. The other one that was really not good was for me. Oh no, I guess everything else was good. You definitely did not like KO. I probably could come down on KO. They're just in a rough spot right now.
I hear so many stories of people just not playing KO until they like change points.
They're honestly, I don't think it's their book that's the problem. I think it's their points. I think their points are just really not good right now.
Agreed.
I still don't think I still don't understand how your ranking for Night Haunt is an A. Did we mess that up? They are
no.
the most broken
So,
army. In the
I
game.
put it as an A because I'm counting on
The
after,
book? Yeah.
after the book.
I will say I do think that even with the first battle scroll, they are still going to be very high up there. I think it's going to take a couple battle
Agreed.
scrolls for them to drop them.
Agreed.
They
You've
are.
got a pretty big disparity on Sylvanet.
Let's see.
Not really. B minus and C. They're not good. The my biggest issue with Sylvanets is there's trees. If they took the trees and made it to where an enemy can't interact with them, they would instantly go up.
I love
I
slingshotting.
just don't like
trees.
the wholly within 6 inches.
That also is a bummer too. It's
Yep.
tough. Yeah. Sylvaneth is in a rough spot. They need to figure out that book. I will say Kurnoth Hunters are extremely good, though.
To a C on Nurgle.
Oh, yeah, Nurgle is in... I actually don't know how you win with that. With
You know, it's great because the Nurgle Regiment of Renown
It's really good.
Is better than all of the Nurgle.
Correct. It's really good. I mean, that's why Nuge took it for Beasts.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's really good against Trogs, too.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're in a rough spot, man. Nurgle is in a rough spot. I don't know how they fix them. I think their mechanic is really bad, and it takes too long to get going.
I don't think it's that bad. I think just all their stuff is too expensive.
I think they're too expensive, but I think that mechanic it just takes too long to get going. Like, you don't really get it moving until, like, round 3. And then things start dying.
That's how they should work.
Yeah.
They should be a ramp up.
Yeah.
Problem is they just don't have enough models to stay on
Correct.
the field for a ramp up.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. All right. That's it. So we've got 2 faction shows left. We got Gloomspite gets, and then all 3 of the Orc factions, sub-factions. So that'll be a pretty long show. But that's the next one. And then we close it out with Suns and Ogres, which will be a short show. And then that's it. And then we'll probably, that'll give us...
Why'd you put the 2 long ones together and the 2 short ones together?
Yeah, you should probably mix those up.
It's too late. I already made the PowerPoint. We ain't changing it. We're just doing it.
You can copy and paste slides.
No, we're doing it the way it is. It's fine. We're going to get through it.
All right.
It's fine.
Okay.
Bone splitters will literally take no time at all. Spiders, no time at all. Right? Garbage. Yeah,
but how long will it take everyone to complain about Trogs?
Okay,
I know that's a show on its own.
I mean, that is going to be me like 30 minutes of just like, wow, Trogs are really
Throwing
stupid.
rocks at the things that throw rocks.
I might as well make some popcorn.
Other than that, we will see you guys next week, and I hope everyone has a good week.
Have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.
Bye.